Yeah. Hello everyone. Good morning and good evening. So where we stop last class? Yeah. Last class we were discussing about data binding, right? So how to bind inside a component between your HTML and the TS file. So we have discussed the interpolation and we also discussed props binding. And we just started the events binding, how to handle the events, and then we'll start with template reference variable. So it is still in progress. I mean, that's still not completed data binding concept. So let me load that project. This is it's a different one. So we'll start. Okay. D drive, workspace, Angular evening, fundamentals. First tab. Okay. Okay. So let me copy this. File open paste. Okay. Okay. Here, let me start the server. Npm start. Yeah, you can do multiple things. You can do npm start or ng serve. Okay, both works. But one small thing I want to tell you is if you do ng serve, so Angular development server will start, but only thing is you have to open the browser manually and enter the URL call 4200. It starts. Instead, you can do a small change where you can do a small changes in the package.json, right? In the package.json, yeah, in package.json in the starter you can make add an extra option after ngserve. Okay, default is ngserve. If it is ngserve, you have to open a browser manually. If you want to open a browser automatically once Angular server started, you can give an option extra hyphen o. It's not zero, it's o. Okay, if you just add this one space hyphen o, as soon as Angular's development server started, it will open the default browser automatically, and you can see the code over there. Okay, you don't need to open that manually. Okay, so mine default browser is Chrome, so it opens in Chrome. Okay, so whatever your default browser. Okay, so now from now onwards, so don't do ngserve. You can do this much ngserve hyphen 0 or else just do npm start. Okay, this is what a small change I want to tell you. So npm start now. So back here, let's say npm start. So I have modified it to hyphen 0. So it, I mean, not 0, it's O. So it will see, even though you enter npm start, it is executing the script. Okay, so it is gonna start now. Come on, let me close all other things. This is database, this is dark theme. Okay, come on. Still taking some time. Come on. Okay, I'll do one thing. From tomorrow onwards, I start the server and keep it ready, because why you want to waste the time here? Yeah, and just serve, not hyphen o, just hyphen o, and just serve hyphen o. What happened, dude? Yeah, it's compiling now. Okay, I'll wait for 1 minute.
So if I'm going to use the ngserve-o, and if I'm going to save it out, it automatically compiles and reflects in the browser automatically. I don't want to refresh
Yes,
it out.
yes, yes. No, yeah, it
Okay,
will compile it and open a browser automatically. So the
automatically.
Yeah, the URL also will come automatically there. Generally what we are doing manually, right? So once it is done with the confirmation, we open a browser, we enter URL, that will do automatic. See, compile successful. See, browser open automatically. You got this. That's one thing. Okay, fine. So yeah, so this we have discussed earlier, last class we stopped it here. Fine, and please note, from today onwards it will be exactly 2 hours we'll discuss the class. Okay, if you want, I'll give 5 minutes break for every 1 hour. Okay, fine. You just let me know when you want break. Okay, so this is finished. Let's make another example on this events. Actually, even separate examples are there, but one more example on this story. I want same just like that. This same just like this. I need one more example where I need some kind of counter. Counter means I need to have some number. I want to keep on increment the number. Okay, and I need some three buttons just like this. Start button to increment the number continuously, and stop button to stop the counter, to stop the counting, and reset. It will reset back to the zero. That I want to implement here using events. Okay, so let's make a let's create a separate component for that counter. So we all know how to create a component is ngGC component. What is that? Let's say something called counter is my component name. Okay, so let me go to app components. Okay, in the events binding, because we were discussing inside events binding, this also comes under events binding. So inside events binding, right click, open internal. So ngGC counter. So this command will create all the required files for the component and also make some updates in app module, the root module. So it's done. And let me add this to the, see, it's created here, all the files. And let me add this to app component. First, let me comment out this app message card. Let's add app counter. Okay. So you get the default message. If you add that here, default message of the component is this one. So let's design this and then we'll discuss how to handle the counter and all. So design part is like this: one container, one row, one column D8, one card. I give the tab. Okay, so dot card hyphen header. Okay, tab. You press the tab, you get the division automatically, right? If you want some other tag, you can just say p tab, or else you want any h1 tab. H1 with the class you want, h1 dot lead tab shortcuts. Okay, fine. And card header, I need one card body. Okay, so card header same like bg dark and text white. Let's add some p dot h4 counter, and I just make some margin top 3. Okay, so in the card body I will make some bigger number. So let's say h3 with a class called display 3, some 10 I'll take initial value, and then 3 buttons. Okay, so button, one green color button, and it's a small button. Okay, so this will be start button, and 3 buttons. One is the stop button and one is reset button. So stop button I'll give btn danger, and reset button I'll give btn minus warning. Okay, this is my design in Bootstrap. So let's check. Yep, you got the design. Fine. Now, what's my plan is I want default value 0. When I click on the start button, I want to just keep on incrementing this number, and click on stop is stops wherever it was there, like 20, 30, wherever it was. Reset back to 0. Okay. So to do all this, we need to have some variable to catch hold of this data, because this number has to dynamically increment, right? So I need to catch hold of this data with a variable, and that dynamically I'll display here, bind it. So let me go to TS file. I create a variable public counter of type number, because this one increment number. This one starts with 0. Okay, so display 0 there. So counter value 0. Now what happens when you click on the start button? What happen? This counter will be keep on incrementing. Now this counter I want to append it to or bind it to HTML. Here how to bind is, go to HTML. See, I want to bind between the tag. Anything you want to bind between the tag, use interpolation. Any attribute or property you want to update, use property binding, right? So this 10 I want to replace with my dynamic counter value counter. So counter I initialize with 0, so you get the answer as 0, right? So it is binded. You can check, you can just make some bigger number. Okay, so that it is automatically updates to, come on, bigger number, right? So now it is binded. So I start with 0, so it's 0 now. Okay, now it is binded. So however you change the value, it updates fine. Now what is my plan is, when I click on the start button, when I click on a start button, I create a method that's keep incrementing my counter a certain interval. Generally we use in JavaScript set interval. Okay, so let's do that step now. So click on this start button. Before I do, I create some functions. Let's say start. Okay, so public start method. So here startup logic. Okay, just make some simple alerts. Start button. Okay, just to clarify that, I just call this function when I click on a button. Okay, so is of type void, nothing. Okay, I want to call this method when I click on a button. So how to bind a method with a button is, when you click, just say click is equal to start method. So when you click on the button, it's called this, and you get the simple alert. Let's check now. When I click on the button, I got the alert. Fine. Next, what I have to do is, I want to increment the number. I mean, this counter I have to increment. So how to increment? Suppose I say this dot counter is equal to this dot counter plus 1. Suppose if I do like this, what happen? If I do like this, what happen? If I just click on start, sorry, once again, that has to restart. Refresh the browser for every change. Yeah. If I click on start, just one, it's not incrementing continuously, right? So what you have to do is, you need to set up a interval. So as soon as you click on a button, it's keep on incrementing. Only one time you click on the button, but number keep incrementing by its time interval. So for that we use set interval. So this like the general JavaScript set interval, you can use it. So set interval. This set interval, I hope you know the syntax. It just for loop. For loop you can do, but for what is the last number for loop? You don't know, right? Infinite. We can't make infinite with for loop, right? So why are we using keyword? This keyword here. Dude, this keyword for you see in the class, in this class, if you want to use any property, this is called property, right? This is a constructor, this is a method, this is a method. So any property of a class you want to access, you can use this keyword. Okay, inside HTML you can use directly, because that's a provision given by Angular. But you want to access that, that's a simple loops concept, right? Now, yeah, set interval. I will make a function inside comma 10 milliseconds I'll make. So for every 10 milliseconds, number will be incremented. How? This dot counter, the local property called counter value. One second. Yeah. Sorry, internet got disconnected. Yeah, now fine. Okay, so this dot counter means this counter value is equal to this dot counter plus 1. So keep on increment by 1 for every 10 milliseconds. Okay, so this is what my logic. Okay, now check. If I can just click on a start, see here. your number is keep incrementing, your counter value keep incrementing for every 10 milliseconds. If I refresh, back to zero. Okay, if you don't want this much faster, you can just make some 100 milliseconds. Okay, 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. Okay, 100 milliseconds is by 10, so it is bit slower. Okay, fine. And yeah, I want to stop this. I want to stop this. To stop, generally in JavaScript we use one, I tell you the flow. You say set interval, right? Set interval, keep incrementing the number. You want to stop it, there's a function called clear interval. Okay, and this clear interval expects a value, right? So what is the value you want to clear, and that value is a return type of set interval. This is how generally timer works. So when you call set interval, the set interval function will return some kind of id actually. So just some id it will return, and that id you pass to this, it will stop the timer. Okay, let's see what I mean. I create another variable public counter id of type number is equal to 0. I'll take. Okay, now anyway, don't need of initialization also, you can just declare it because I want to assign from here. Okay, just initialize, sorry, only declare. What I do is this dot counter id is equal to set interval. So set interval function, once it is started the timer, it will return an id to this variable, and this variable you can clear it. And when to clear is when you click on a stop button. So let's say the stop button, so public stop. Okay, and this also just void type. Okay, how to stop? Let's say clear interval. That's a general JavaScript function. In that, to what you want to clear is this dot counter id. Whatever the counter id you have assigned when you start the timer, the same counter id you pass to clear interval, it stops. And when it works, when you click on a stop button. So let me connect the button with this method. How? You can make click and stop. Okay, when you click on that, it stops. This logic is this one. Now check, go back here. If I click on a start, it is started. When you click on stop, it stopped. Click on start again, it is started. Click on stop, it stops. But thing is, when I click on start, it's starting from there where it is left. But I want to make it 0 reset, that is just reset. Okay, I want to reset the counter value to 0. That's very simple. You can make reset public reset. Okay, I'll make a void type. For reset also, I stop the timer. Okay, why internally it is incrementing, I just stop the timer, and I'll say this dot counter value is equal to 0. I reinitialize back to 0. Okay, so if we click on reset, and let me connect the reset method with the button. So let's add click is reset. Okay, so three buttons, three functions. Now check, I want bit faster. You can just make this as not 100, just make at least 50 millisecond, bit faster. Okay, now check, it has a refresh. Yeah, click on start, it is incrementing. Click on stop, stop it. Click on start again, incrementing, stop. If you want to reset back, reset 0. Start, stop, start, stop, reset. Fine, it looks good. It looks like working, but small problem is there. Small bug is there in this application. What is that? What is that is, I will tell you. Let's make some 100. Okay, observe very closely, you tell me what is the bug. Okay, observe closely now. 100. Okay, yeah, observe closely, tell me the bug what it is. When I click on starter, it is nicely incrementing at some speed, right? I click on stop, yes, I click on start, it is incrementing. stop. Working. It seems like working, right? Now let's see the bug. I click on start. I supposed to click on stop. I click on start one more time. Start. So 3, 5, 5, 6 times I type start. Now see, did you see any difference? Time is incremented very faster, right? I tell you what is the problem. If you want to really see that, let's make 1000 milliseconds. Okay, 1000 milliseconds means every 1 second. Yeah, see now. See one more time. Click on start. So generally for every 1 second, it has to increment. Stop, it stops. Okay. But problem is if you hit same start button multiple times, what happened? Start button, only 1 second it is incrementing. Start again, start again. So 5, 6 number of times I type. Now see, is it for 1 second? No. I tell you what is the problem. Problem is when you click on a start button, right? It set up an interval for the counter. When you click start again, it set up one more interval for the same counter. So it double speed increment the count. If you click on start 100 times, if you just click on start button 10 times, so 10 times counter will increase. Okay, that much faster is come. So I have to stop it. Okay, so first time when application load counter is not started, when I click on start, I need to put a lock. So do timer is already running. I don't want to start it again. Okay, you can fix this. Simple fix is there. You can take something called public is counter running of type boolean is equal to false. I take. Okay, so is counter running, or I'll just say is running. Okay, is counter running is false because when first time application loads, counter not running, so I just take false. So how I modify the logic is when to start the timer, because when you, every time you click on the button it start the timer, right? So what I do, something I made a mistake, I think. Oh, is equal to false is correct. Yeah, so I want to do one thing. I just cut this. I write a condition if this dot, to access the local property of class, this dot counter running is equal to or else is already false. No. Okay, if the counter if the counter is not running, then you start the timer. Okay, and as soon as the timer is started, you have to lock it. How to lock? This dot, the counter running is equal to true because it is started. So you can make a small lock here. So what is that? First time when application loads, before you click on a start button, it is false. So when you click on a first time start button, it will check counter is running or not. So initialize with false. So not false is true. It starts the timer, and automatically as soon as started the timer, it will make counter value to true. So next time you click on a start button, is already true, condition fails, it won't start again. So how many times you do from second click onwards, how many times you do start, it will never increase again because you put a lock there. Okay, so now check. See here, I click on, I think it's refresh. Yeah, I click on a start button. It is just incrementing 1, 2, 3 just for every 1 second. I click on stopper, so it is stopped. I click on start again. Start. Array, dude, any error? Console. Yeah, let's keep the console on. Yeah, start. One. Okay, I press the start multiple times. I think you can hear the sound. Okay. So I press start multiple times, but there is no problem in the timer. It's still same swing. Okay, that's a fix. And what else you do? Clear the timer interval. Okay, done. And even once you click on stop, one more issue will come. If you click on stop, you need to reset back to false, right? There is dot counter running is equal to false, because once you stop it, it has to start again, right? So it has to keep it back to false. Once you click on a stop and once you click on reset also back. Okay, so let's increase this some 50 now. Now check. Okay, I click on start incrementing. I click on the start multiple times, but still it's not changed. I click on stop, it stopped. Reset, start. How many times you click on the start doesn't matter. If you click on stop, it stops. Reset, that's it. Okay, that's a logic. You can also make the timing. Okay, so that we'll see in a coming example, but as of now just counter. Fine, that's about data binding with how to call functions actually, but we have made some extra logic on top of it, right? Let's one more example. What is that is we have four, right, total. One is interpolation. One is interpolation, this one, and second one is property binding. Property binding is what, this one, and third one we have events binding, that is this one, and fourth one we have that is template reference variable. Template reference variable is just like a hash, some id. Okay, so template reference variable is just like your JavaScript. Generally JavaScript, you have some h1 tag, right? You have some h1 tag. If you want to refer the h1 tag element, what you do, you will give some id is equal to something called msg, and you will use that using document dot I write in JavaScript. Yeah, you have a h1 tag with id message. Okay, if you want to refer that in JavaScript, what you do, document dot query selector or document dot get element by id, query selector of hash id. So just like this, we have template reference variable in Angular also. Okay, but no document dot query selector is a different way using template reference variable. Okay, so I tell you what is that now. For that we want to take another example. So let me create a separate component for this. Let's say let's close all, and also, yeah, in template reference variables folder there is no component. I'll create a component first and then I'll tell you the example. What is the component is nggc, um, let's say called something. I'll take msg card, message card, or okay, info card, something. Okay, I don't know what's the name. Okay, info card is my component name. Let me create this and then I tell you what is this meaning of. So let me create a component in this folder. So let me right click, open in terminal, cls. So let's say nggc info hyphen card, enter. Okay, it's created. It's created. uh, Now I want to add this to the app component. Let me comment out this. Let me add this app info, sorry, not applet, app array, app info.
Info card.
Yes. Okay, so you get the default message, info card works. Okay, so the see here, what is meant by template reference variable is, suppose you have something called one image tag. Okay, src, let's make some dummy src, something called apple dot jpg. Actually it is not there, but just assume we have an image tag. Now I have a button. I have a button, the class something btn minus secondary and btn minus sm. Okay, small button, just say click. Okay, now what is the story is there any way to stop generating spec.ts while creating the component? Actually it must be there. It must be there. There is no way of stopping it. It must be there, because in real time you have to write even test cases also. But if I start telling you test cases, you know, you will forget the actual concept. Oh, is it? You can do that. Okay, maybe. You can do Chetan told you can do like this spec is equal to false. You can try. If you don't want spec, you can just say like hyphen hyphen spec is equal to false. But officially it must be there. Okay, fine. Yeah. So I have an image tag and I have a button called click. Okay. So now what is my plan is when I click on this particular button, I want to get this element. Remember, when I click on this button, I want to access this image tag. Okay, how? So what you do, you will write a click event on this, right? So click on this button. Let's say get element. My function name is get element. Okay, get element. Okay, so let me copy this. Let me create that method here. So public get element like this. You can make a simple alert. Button is clicked. Okay, so I have a yeah I have an image tag and I have a button. When I click on the button, it executes this method and this will says alert. Let's check once. When I click on this button, I got the alerts. That's fine. Now what is my plan is whenever I click on this particular button, I want to access this element in this method. Generally, how to access this image in JavaScript is you make id is equal to something image element and you inside the function what you do document dot query filter of image or document dot get element by id like that. But in Angular, if you want to refer this element, so what you do is you can just refer it using a template reference variable. Any element in the DOM you want to refer, you can use the template reference variable using some ID. Just give some ID for that. How is you can just say hash, you give hash itself, hash image tag something. Okay, this is called template reference variable. So this will refer the whole element, whole image tag. Okay, I want to pass this to this method. Okay, and in this, say why you got the error is you declared this method as empty. Okay, let me take some element. Okay, let me do a console dot log of element. Let's see what is that element has captured. Let's see. When I click on this particular button, I have called this method with passed in the template reference variable of image tag for this. And what I'm doing, I'm just printing the console.log. So what you expect in the console.log, I'm passing this one. So this will be the whole image tag. You want to see that? You can open inspect and open a console window. What is that? Apple.jpg not exist. Yeah, I know. There is no apple.jpg. Yeah. When I click on this button, see, you get what? The image tag, correct? And some extra class name added that is belongs to the Angular. So you don't need to worry about it. So you got the whole image tag. So simple. So what is mean by the template reference variable is if you want to refer any HTML element on the DOM, you can use the template reference variable using hash or some name, and you can use that to pass anywhere. Okay, just to refer the element. But I don't think this is the proper example. Let's make a nice example now. Okay, so you will understand properly. Okay, let's make a design. So I will make one container, one row called MD4, one card. Okay, card header. I usually write cards. Okay, okay, because we never compromise on UI. Okay, let's make another card. Okay, let's me design something, right? BG success text to white. Okay, this is what this is something called client. Not client, no client and server architecture. I'm just telling an example. P.H4 client card. Okay, so client card having some message inside. P dot leader, just say lorem 40 tab. Let me check. Refresh. Yeah, you got a card. Oh, huge card. Can we delete this? Let's make some margin top 3. Okay, so I have a client card. I have some content. I'll make a button also. Let's make a button with the class called btn minus success. Okay, and btn minus sm, something called send button. Send button. Okay, this is my design. Okay, so what is the plan now is, here one more card will come, same setup, but when I click on this send button, whatever the message you have it, that message I want to transfer to, I mean send copy to another card right side. What I mean is same, just like another card we have, that is some different color, which is secondary. This is some server card. Okay, paragraph, this empty paragraph as of now, and no button. Okay, see here, button different color. Where is the button? Have I taken button server also? Server no button, no. I removed, right? Oh, I didn't save. Refresh. Okay, this is a client card, server card. Okay, now plan is I have some content here. Okay, so when I click on the send button, I want to transfer, I mean, I want to copy the same content and paste in the place of here. So this case, we use template reference variable, okay, to refer this particular paragraph to copy paste over here. So how can you achieve this is very simple. How can you achieve this is, you can create a variable. I tell you can create a variable public server message. Okay, server side card message. Okay, of type string is equal to just empty. I'll take or some my name I'll take. Okay, server message is something I want to display. What's the problem? 1 second, my got stuck. Okay, come on. Okay, I have taken server message is my name. I want to display the server message on the server side card here. How to do? You need to bind it. How to bind? In the place of P, I write interpolation server messenger, right? So what happened? Default message Naveen was there. It is display. But for my example, I don't want anything here. So I simply make this as an empty string. So nothing will display here. Fine. Now what's my plan is, when I click on this particular button, I want to get this data added. Already this area is binded with server message. So what you do, when I click on this button, I can access this content and add to server message. So server message is already binded to this card, so automatically it will display here. Okay, so what I do, when I click on the send button, I create a function called sender, I mean a method send. So I say public send. Okay, so what this send method is doing is, it will receive something. What it will receive, it will receive some element. Okay, some elements. So that elements, what is this one? Inner text. You can do like this. This dot server message is equal to element dot. You're not getting the automated hint because you're not declared element of what type. I'm gonna get the element is the paragraph elements. You can just declare the type also. HTML paragraph element. That's a class to represent the element. You can have image element, input element, like that. So element dot target dot inner text. What's the problem? Oh, you have element directly now. No target. I thought it's a React. Okay, element dot inner text, the text between the tag. Okay, add to here. Let me call this method and passing the element. So for my element p tag, I'll give some ID hash paragraph something. Okay, this paragraph I need to provide to this function. So click is equal to send method provided paragraph. Okay, you have taken a template reference variable to the paragraph, and that paragraph I provided to send method. What send method is doing, this element dot inner text. Inner text means what? The text between the this text, not the whole paragraph tag, only the text. That text I'm adding to server message. Server message already binded to
Uh,
it will display.
is both names should match paragraph?
Sorry.
Both names should be matched or not? Paragraph and in send function we have the parameter, right?
This parameter, no, doesn't matter.
No, no.
It can be anything.
In HTML, here and here,
Yeah,
yeah.
obviously. No, the same reference variable only I'm passing.
Okay,
This is
it should be
referring.
matched.
Match exactly same.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because the same name only. It's like a name only. This name only I'm passing here. Okay, it is referring this one. Okay, so now check. Click on send. I got data. Simple. Okay, yeah. As you said, if you say something called MSG, see it's wrong. Now you just make MSG. It is referring to this one only. You can just say press Control and click on this. You go here. This is just like a variable. It is template reference variable. You can pass. It's like a variable name. Okay, fine. If you want only paragraph, you can make it. Yeah, that's about template reference variable. Very simple. If you want to refer any HTML element on the DOM, you can use this. Okay, fine. So
If
that's
we
it
want to
about.
send some heading data, then what will be the type of that element?
If you want to send,
Some heading data, some other data other than paragraph.
yeah, you can refer some ID for that and you can send. For example, if you don't want to send paragraph, this heading you want it. So you can make some hash heading you can type, and that heading you can provide here. Okay.
And one more thing in that TS file,
Huh.
can you open that TS file?
Huh.
In that element, this type is HTML paragraph element. So
Yes.
different classes for other types of element.
What class? I didn't get.
What to write if it is an input tag?
Yeah. You can make
Input or image
HTML.
or
Yeah. Input element is HTML input elements. Image
Okay.
is HTML image element, like that. Just say HTML and control space. You get a lot of elements. You can just select audio element, base element, body element, like that. You can have a huge collection. Okay.
And if we
Table.
pass only element, then this
That's
dot
like
server message is
yeah,
equal to them.
that's like a general element. I think element is there. Element is there. It works general. So if it is HTML element, you can pass you can pass heading, paragraph, anything.
Show the output, please.
I have given what? One second. I have given heading. So you get the output is heading. No issue. Okay. If you provide a paragraph, you get the paragraph. Okay, so thing is, if you make a gender element, so for paragraph and heading tag, mostly same kind of attributes will be there. You can use it. But suppose if you have image tag, okay, image tag doesn't contains inner text because we don't write anything inside image tag. So that case, this won't work. So you just choose what is the element you're going to select there, and based on that you can make it. You can make either particular element or general element.
What if we write this dot server message is equal to element
Element
only element?
only
Yes.
element so that
Yeah.
that's a problem because element is belongs to the HTML element, this is belongs to string.
String.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, so
Okay.
yeah, fine. This is about data binding, and let's start
For
with some
For input, we have to use HTML input
Input
element.
element, input element, yeah. Just do like this, HTML, control tab, control
Input element.
space, yeah, input, like that you get more out. Fine.
It
Where was,
it is capturing the event.
not event, the whole element.
Okay, okay.
Event is here. Click event, we connected with the button, that is event. This parameter is the whole tag. Whatever the tag you referred, no, the whole tag. So the tag specific attributes you can catch, tag specific content you can catch, or the whole tag itself you can refer the same variable itself. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. Yes. Element dot value you have to do, correct. Anita, correct. Okay, if it's input box you want to catch the value, dot value you can make input element dot value. Actually, for input elements we have a shortcut method that's called two-way data binding. I tell you what is that. Okay, wait, there's a way, but you can use this one or some more optimized things also there, we'll see. Okay, fine. So this is about data binding. Now we have two separate sessions. One is events binding separate, and also one is forms binding. Okay, but what we discuss is very basic setup, basic syntax and basic examples. Let's do some deeper example for events binding as well as forms binding. Events binding, we're going to discuss an example called a product item. Generally, you have products, right, in the checkout page or in the cart page. Sorry, in the cart page you have a collection of items. For example, I show you, I think I have it. Where was that? One second. Hmm, I think I have a BrainScut application. Okay, let's take about our Angular. In this I show you one real-time example. We'll do that now. For example, see here, in this side you have a product, you have a name, and you have a plus and minus symbol, right? If you click on a plus symbol, the quantity will increase and total also will increase. If you click on minus button, quantity will decrease, total also decrease. So this is a real time, we use this in shopping cart also. So let's make this example where can we increment the quantity and decrease the quantity. Okay, so I do that with the concept called events binding. Product item is my component. I don't want to mess up this story. I'll just take a backup of this and then I'll create some separate project for that. Okay, so I don't want to create a whole project, I only take components from here. Okay, so let me do one thing, I'll just copy the backup. I just copy the src and angular.json, these two enough, right? Package.json and all not required. So I just copy only these two, and let me go to, where is my, yeah, here, Angular fundamentals. I create a data binding, yeah, already data binding. Oh, package.json is there. Okay, let me grab the package.json, copy these three, I replace here. So I have shared yesterday that examples, right? Some 2, 3. Today we have added new. So complete source code src folder, Angular package. Only these folders I'll share mostly for every project, for every application, because we don't need to create the whole application, because I don't need to share the whole application because time waste. You can create any application, you only replace these three files, it works. Okay, this create a full Angular application, this replace these files what I shared, so it will become a whole application. Okay, fine. So we have taken a backup. Now what I do is I delete this components folder, I don't want it. Let's clear it. Okay, it says okay, I have already opened something in the that location, I already there. Exit. You get the error because you're trying to delete something unexpectedly without stopping the server. Yeah, delete this components, and wherein all we configure app component, this story not required, and I think app module also you have it, delete, and Card component, nothing is required. Delete this app component. Fine. So I delete the components folder. I remove the configuration from app components, and app module also it has done some configuration called declarations. I remove that also. So now your application back to uh, basic setup. Okay, with the bootstrap setup done. Now let me start the server and then we'll discuss events binding. So let me say npm start so that it execute the ngserve -o. It opens the browser automatically, and then we'll start. Come on. This okay. Counter is not there. That's fine. It will open a browser. It's still doing it. Now it opens a fresh. Yeah, it's fine. Now my heading is not data binding. It is events binding. Okay. Okay, fine. It will change. Okay. So our concept is let's create a new fresh component called product item with an example of this increment the quantity and all, right? Let's see. Let me create a component. How to create is ngGC and product hyphen item. Okay, and where you create is let me create a folder inside a new directory called components. I generally create in this way because you may create separate services, separate interceptors like that. So we create separate folder for them. Okay, in the components, right click, open in terminal, ngGC product hyphen item, enter. Okay, it's done. Let me configure that here. Let's say app product item. So you get the default message product item. Okay. Now in this, what's my plan is I want to display one product content. Product content means we don't have a server to fetch data and all. So let's create some our own static object because one row is one object. Okay, in a table. Let me create an object. But again, the problem is if you create object, you have to specify the type, right? If it is normal string and all, you can do it. But object means you have to specify the type. So how can you declare the type? Using interface. Okay. So in my product, I need some properties like some ID required, name of the product is required, quantity of the product is required, price is required. Okay, this fields required. So can we create interface type? Okay, for interface, you can create directly in this, or else you can create a separate folder called models. Generally, we create all the types inside a models folder. Your wish, you can make any name. Okay, but generally we call them as model. Okay, so models. In that, I create one interface. You can't generate interface dash. No shortcut. Just make it yourself. Let's say I product. Okay, so don't add to Git as of now. Export interface iProduct. What are the fields you are expecting in your object? I need an ID of type string or number, anything. I need a name of type string. I need a price of type number. I need a quantity of type number. Total you can calculate, so no total to store in object. Fine. So I need an object with these fields. Okay, I declare interface. Now in my product item, I need to define the whole object. So public product of type iProduct is equal to an object. Okay, I declare the type. Earlier we have just string number. Now I have a separate type. You can make a type like this, create a models folder. In that you can declare the interface. You can use that here. It automatically imports from that location. Okay, so what are all there? Control space ID. ID is string. So let's make some 00AA 45 something. And name something called smart
iProduct has been
watch.
imported.
iPod it came. See,
Okay.
yeah. Name and price. I just take some 850 rupees. This number and quantity. I'll make some 2. I have. Okay, just for only one row I display. So for that, okay, I have this data, and this data I want to display nicely in a table format here. Let me design the table now. Okay, how? Let me go to HTML. I just make some one container, spelling wrong. Container row single column. Can we do something called product item lot? Okay, so p dot h4. Design takes time. Come on, refresh. Refresh, man. Okay, it will take its own time. Okay, I just make another row, single column. Let's start with the table. Table t head, table row. Okay, table. I need some classes, bootstrap classes, table, table, hover. Okay, and text center and table light and table striped. Okay, T head I want nice black color, BG dark and text white. Table row. Yeah, what all I want. I need some TH around some 5 or 6 tab. Yeah, shortcut is TH. I want 6 TH tags. So take TH star 6 tab. Okay. Serial number and name. Better you can take the image also, na? Don't we have image? Yeah, let me grab some image. Still refresh. Bro, what happened there? Still, it got stuck. It seems 77%. What we do? Maybe my system is slow. I think. Yeah. I need image also. Okay. So how to grab? Let me grab from Google. Okay. Let's get something called smart watch images. Grab one smart watch. Yeah, this nice. Okay. So let me copy image address. I just get from Google address. Okay. Image address. I can make here ID image. I just make it here, comma. Problem is image extra added, but that is not existing in iProduct. Okay, let's add that image of type string. Now, oh, now starting. See, I made extra image, so accordingly I modified this. So now it is happy. This image also I got it. So I got ID, image, name, price, quantity. Can we display that here? ID, image I'll make here, image, and then name, and then quantity, and then price. I'll do like this: price, quantity, and total. Okay, so let's check how it is. Yep. Here I want to display the ID, image, and all. Yeah. No looping, because looping we have not discussed. Ng for Ng if lot of things, but we have only one. to display. So let's make only one row directly here. So T body table row TD. So first one serial number. How to bind the serial number here? Interpolation. Just say product dot ID. Okay, just like that. We have image, but image you can't just display the address. I want to display the image tag. Inside I'll make one nice image tag src. That's a property binding. Src attribute, right? Product dot image. Okay, so these things, one is price and quantity. Price product dot price. This is qty.
In image tag, we can use the interpolation as well, na?
Yeah, you can use that. You can use, but they preferred is this way for attributes. Content they can use like this. Yep. Oh, bigger image. Let's make some width 50, height 50. Okay, let's make some 100. Okay, and quantity, not displayed. Okay. Name in the place price has come. Oh, dude. So here product dot name. So now it will adjust to there. Yep. What about total? Total means price into quantity. You can make expression directly like this. Product dot quantity into product dot price. It will calculate because expression, right? It will calculate, and 850 into 2, 1700. Okay. One more thing, I just want to display slight thicker text because it's not even visible. So can we make something in style.css? Do we have? Yeah, in style.css, I'll make some my own styles. Dot table, t body, table row, table data, font weight, bold. Okay. Fine. Let's make one very small image. Okay, let's check. Yeah. Fine. So too much setup. Yeah. I need two buttons here, like two symbol, plus symbol, minus symbol. When I click on plus symbol, increment the quantity. Click on minus symbol, decrement the quantity. Let's make the symbol because we have already connected, I think, font awesome. Let me check. In angular.json, we have font awesome. Yes, I think you can do it. But one extra thing is in index.html, font awesome link also should be there. It doesn't have. Okay, let me give the font awesome link to use the font awesome icons. I think I have it. Yeah, this one. You can just give this URL here. Link tag. I'll share it. Okay, just paste it. If you give this, you can use any of the font awesome icons. Okay, fine. That's the setup. So you can use font awesome now. How? Let's make for quantity. Let's add I tag with a class for minus symbol, FA minus minus circle, and here another I tag with a class plus circle. Okay, so you get, where was that? Okay, you got a plus symbol, minus symbol. Okay, looks good. Now what is FA? Font awesome icons. You can use Google material icons or font awesome icons. You can just refer this one. There is online website font awesome. This is the, for icon specific, we use this library. If you follow my bootstrap tutorial, I regularly use a lot of font awesome icons. Okay, so you can use them. I think it takes a lot of time. Yeah, just remember font awesome. Okay, fine. Yeah, I got two icons. Okay, setup ready now. And when you click on a plus, increment, minus, decrement. Okay, let's click on a plus symbol. A click event normal, just click on plus symbol is click event. So let's make For my, yeah, this icon, I apply the click events, increase quantity, my function. Okay, let me create this increase quantity method in the TS file. Let's say increase quantity. So public increase quantity. Yep. So here what you do, you want to cross check, you can make some alerts, click something. Okay, when you click on the plus button, you get this alert. Let's check. Click on a button, you got it, fine. Now I want to increase the quantity. How? Can we write something like this is the product, right? So I say like this dot product dot quantity is equal to this dot product dot quantity plus 1. Okay, only quantity I want to increase, right? So how many times you click on a press button, those many times it execute this function, those many times keep on incrementing the quantity. Okay, already quantity binded to here. Let's check. Click on the plus. Yes, it is now incrementing. Okay, it is now incrementing. Looks good. Now I need plus is working. Minus. If I click on minus, decrease the quantity. Same story. What you do? Click on the minus. Let's say click events. Decrease decr quantity function. Let me copy this, and here let's say decrease the quantity. So public decrease quantity, I write reduce -1. So can we take like this? Can we take the same story, make it -1? Okay, fine. We have applied the events and we are reducing. Fine. Now check. I think it got refreshed now. Yeah. So click on the plus, increasing, minus, decreasing. But problem is, if I decrease again, 1. Okay, if I click on 1, 0, 0, minus. This is not looks good because you don't need to decrease less than 1. Okay, at least minimum 1 quantity should be there. Okay, you can make a condition. What is the condition you do here? Quantity -1 is greater than 0. I use ternary operator because we learn in TypeScript. I say this dot product dot quantity -1, otherwise 1. Okay, if you are going beyond, I mean less than 0, then default value will be 1. Okay, how many times you click, but default value will be 1, otherwise reduce it. Okay, small condition here. Now check. I think correct. Yeah, now check. I click on a plus, incrementation, anything. Okay, and less than 1. If I click on, see, I'm trying to click minus, but not reducing, less than 1. Okay, this type of condition you can make. Fine. So this is a simple example of increase the product, and how to display multiple products and all. We'll see with there's a separate class for that. You have ng repeat. Sorry, ng for, ng if, and a lot of conditional statements and looping statements we have in Angular. We'll see that in coming classes. Fine, this is an example, and we have one more example I want to tell you, that is something called stopwatch. Okay, one more example in the events binding is a stopwatch. We discussed earlier is the counter, just like counter only, but I want to display nice stopwatch, means milliseconds, seconds, and minutes I want to display instead of just number. Okay, let's make a stopwatch example. For this also we have to create a component. Let's create nggc stop hyphen watch. Okay, let me create this now. Let me copy this. Okay, and what you do, close all, and in components folder, right click, open in new terminal, paste it, stopwatch, enter. Okay, it's created. And what we do, yeah, we got stopwatch. Let me connect the stopwatch to the app component. Let me comment this app stopwatch. So you get the default message on the screen. Stopwatch works. We have to design that. Designing a long story. Okay, let's make. Go here. I make stopwatch means which contain 3 buttons again, like start, stop, and reset. So one container, one row. Let's start with the design. Okay, I make some p.h3 stopwatch, and another row. Okay, another row. I make some call md 6, one card header, card body, card header with bg secondary and text white, p.h4 stopwatch. So you get the stopwatch here. You want to keep it center also, you can do margin auto. It keeps in center. Okay. Inside I want actually the timing like 0000 like that. So in the card body, let's make some h3 with the class called some display 3. I make some span tags because I want display milliseconds and all for that. So 00 colon, here not required. Let's keep center. So text center and 3 buttons. Okay, here 3 buttons. How? Button tag. I'm going a bit faster in typing of Bootstrap code because that's not much important because you can use normal CSS or Bootstrap, but our concentration mainly on Angular. So I don't want to explain much on this Bootstrap setup. Okay, start. So start, stop, reset. Stop, nice color, red color, and reset some warning color. Okay, fine. Actually, you're supposed to keep them in card footer. Looks good, no? Okay, small change. Okay, yeah. Keep it center, dude. Yeah. Setup ready. What we do is when I click on a start, okay, this is milliseconds, seconds, minutes. So keep on incrementing them. Click on stop, it stops. Okay, and reset back to 00. It's just like counter only, but extra calculation is based on the counter number. I want to divide it to how many milliseconds, how many seconds, how many minutes. Like that I calculate and dispatch here. Okay, so let me start with some counter. So go to TS file. I create public. I just take something called timer. Okay, instead of counter, timer number is equal to 0. Okay, because every number starts from 0. And my plan is I'll take some ID because I have to stop it. For that I need to have an ID. So timer ID of type number, just declare it. Value will assign when you start with timer. So I create a function called start. So public start. Here I just set up an interval. Set interval for 10 milliseconds I'll make, and in this I just keep on incrementing my timer value. So this dot timer is equal to this dot existing timer plus 1. Keep on incrementing the timer with 1. And as we discussed, set interval will receive something, that is this dot timer ID. Okay, catch it. The same timer ID, I'll stop it when you click on a stop button. Okay, but I want to see the timer value on the screen, because when you click on this button, is it execute this method, keep incrementing. So let me see the timer value on the screen. As of now, we have all these things. Let me display just timer for safe side somewhere on the top or somewhere. Okay, where we do above the card somewhere. Okay, pre-tag display the timer. Let's see is the timer is incrementing or not. Okay, we'll delete that. Now timer value is 0 somewhere here, it's corner. I click on start, not working. Oh, we didn't attach the method with the button click. The start method we have not attached to the start button. So let's say click start. Okay, so when you click on that, it starts. Now check. Okay, now click on start. Yes, this number is incrementing, but problem we have seen already. When you click on start every time, it's become very faster. Okay, we have to fix that now. Later we'll convert to milliseconds and all. How to fix that? We have to take another variable called public timer running of type boolean is equal to false. I take. Okay, now what I do, I'll make a condition here because only one time it has to start the timer. So cut it. If timer is not running, this the timer is not running, then you start the timer, and immediately as soon as started, this dot timer running is equal to true. Okay, we have seen this logic. Fine. Now let's check. Yeah, click on start incrementing. Click on how many times, doesn't matter. It's will go in speed. It's fine. But thing is, in this example, we have seen this already. But I don't want this number like this. I want milliseconds, seconds, and minutes calculated depend on this number. Okay, how you do is actually there's a formula. Formula is okay. I forgot the formula. I think I used to do the same example with jQuery and JavaScript. So let me go to the source code of jQuery. So I can find the formula. You can type my name. Go to my GitHub account. Somewhere I have it. jQuery. Startup files. There's an example called what is that? Dependency calculator, typing tester, count to 2 validator. Don't we have? It's supposed to be there. Examples. No. Somewhere is there. Digital watch something. Validator, lightbox, count to plugin, magnifier plugin. Oh, I think I have changed it. Then it is not there. Okay, let me go to JavaScript. One second, only just I need to find the formula. JavaScript, do we have any? Yeah, somewhere in DOM manipulation we can find. Oh, type in tester. Okay, in type in tester only it will be there. JavaScript. No data, only minutes and seconds is there. Sorry guys, one last check. Okay, one last check. jQuery starter files. I think type in tester somewhere it is there. Type in tester, yeah. Here, this file. Yes, this is the formula. Copy this. I'll keep somewhere outside here. So you can calculate based on timer. Timer is this number. See, we also taken same name, right? There's a number, hai na? I mean, this number is called timer. When you click on this, timer is increasing. So based on this number, it will calculate how many milliseconds, how many seconds, how many minutes. Okay, that is this formula. So timer I have given actually for 10 milliseconds. 10 milliseconds is timer. So 10 milliseconds by 100 by 60 is number of minutes, and that minus this one by 100 minus 60 you get seconds. Remaining is milliseconds, like that. So I need some three variables now: minutes, seconds, milliseconds. Let's create. So here public minutes of type number is equal to 0. I start with 0. This is seconds 0, milliseconds also 0. Okay, so now let me write this logic in start function. Yep, you can write here. Okay, it's not minutes, it is this keyword because it's a class. This dot minutes, this dot second, this dot millisecond, this dot timer, this dot timer, this dot timer, this dot minute, this dot second, this dot minutes. Okay, so you will get the minutes and seconds and milliseconds got calculated based on this our timer value. So now this minutes and seconds and milliseconds I want to display on the screen. Where is this is minutes, this is second, this is milliseconds. Let's bind it. Minutes, this is seconds, and this is milliseconds. Okay, let's check. Yeah, all are 0 because initialized to 0. Click on start. Yeah, 1 2 3 4. Yeah, there is a problem. Problem is it is 2-digit actually. It was, and I click on start, just got 1 2. I want 0 1 0 2 0 3, like 0 9 and 10. You can make that with one function. Okay, you can create another method called a public leading 0, some method. Okay, what this will do is it will take the time, if it can be minutes, seconds, milliseconds, whatever. So it will just check the condition and return. So let's write shortcut code. If the timer is less than or equal to 9, if the less than or equal to 9, value will be 0 plus time, question mark. If time is less than or equal to 9, just append the 0 to it, otherwise return the time as it is. Okay, if you feel this is hard to understand, you can write in like this. You can write like if time is less than or equal to 9, return the 0 attached plus time. Okay, 0 1 0 2, like that. Else return the time. So same code I read in the shortcut. Fine, so this will give you, but I have to call and pass it. Can we do one thing? Can we call like this? Let's say leading 0 of minutes, and here leading 0 of seconds, and let's say leading 0 of milliseconds. So it will pass the minutes what is calculated to this one. So that will calculate add 0 or not, that will decide here, and result will display here. Now check all 0 0. Click on start. Now happily 0 1 0 2 0 3 0 4, like that. Fine, and let me click on stop. It's not stopping, we have to stop it. How? Let me click on this button, stop function. Let me create that and clear the timer. Where we create, let's say somewhere here. So stop, let's say public stop. So stop means you can clear the timer using the timer ID. So clear interval of this dot timer ID, you will stop it, and also make sure you will keep that So once you stop again, you will start the timer, right? So by that time it must be false. Okay, if it is false, if you click on start again, it will start. Otherwise you have put a lock on it. Okay, you open the lock when you click on a stop. Okay, and same way I'll make a reset, public reset. Reset means everything set back to 0. So public reset. I want to reset many things. I have to stop the timer, reset to false, and what else is there? Is all the story. Can we do one thing? Copy it. Go to, okay. Let's say, yeah, here I reset everything. So this dot timer ID 0. Actually, timer ID no need to reset, right? This will come automatically when you click on start. Okay, fine. This dot timer you can reset. This dot minutes you can reset all variables. Okay, this dot milliseconds reset, and I think this dot seconds also reset. Every variable reset back to plain application again. Yeah, you have to call this reset when you click on a reset button. I think it's here, reset. Simple, same like a counter, but we just only made is extra calculated value is um, um, extra calculate value for minutes. Okay, fine. Let me save it. Go check. Yeah, you have it. When I click on a start, so your timer has been started. And one more thing, I don't need to display this number. That is somewhere it is pre-tag. I don't want this now. Delete. Now check. Okay. Okay, fine. Now click on a start. Yeah. So for every 1 second, and how many times you click on a start, it doesn't matter. It doesn't care it because we put a lock on it. This. So fine. And click on stop. It stops. Click on start again. Stop. Start. Stop. Reset. All 0. You can start from scratch. Stop. Reset. Okay. You can test it. Okay. How many times you click on stop, and you can, this way also you can test it. How is I click on start and I don't want to stop, I click on reset directly. Yes, it works. I click on reset, it stops and reset to 0. That's what the logic we write. It will see here, it stops the timer and then reset reset all this, and also timer running to false. Next time we can start it. Okay, you test it. If any issue you tell me. I think it no issue. I already tested multiple ways. Okay, done. This is another example on events binding. Fine. In future, we have a lot of events binding examples for larger applications, but this is enough to understand the events binding with the HTML and components. Now the concept is another concept is forms binding. I have taken actually forms binding as a separate concept because it deals with two-way data binding between the forms components. Like you have type in something in the input text box. Okay, I need to bind dynamically with the TS file. Okay, and you'll have a text box, you have a select box, you have different and you have a form submission, right? So you have different components. I mean, you can have different HTML elements on the form separately, right? So how to deal with data binding with the forms, and also we understand here what is meant by two-way data binding and how to do two-way data binding manually, and how the automated two-way data binding available Angular, we'll see that. Okay, the whole concept we'll see here, but only thing is forms binding concept, no form validation as of now. Form validation separate concept. It comes after the fundamentals module. In the last end of the fundamentals module, we'll discuss form validation, but here we only see how to bind the data between your forms, your typing, okay, and the background TS file. That's the binding. And once that is done, we'll go with some other concepts.
Sir,
Okay.
this dot concept somewhat confusing, sir.
This keyword,
This keyword. Yes, sir.
this is very simple, man. This is refers to the current object. Suppose this class object, you want to refer this keyword that is there in JavaScript also. Suppose you want to use the timer variable. Generally, JavaScript you declare with let keyword, right? Timer, and we can use the timer. Timer is equal to 10. Timer is equal to 100. You can do like, but if it is a class object oriented, you have if you want to refer any element, any property here, you can
Yes,
use
sir.
this keyword. This is the current object of this class.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Can we use any such way that properties enterprise by using this keyword?
Can we use what?
Properties.
Your voice is breaking. I couldn't get
Yeah, I will text that.
text it. Yeah. What is model? Model is a sense. It's like a type, data type. Model is not that model like MVC architecture. We generally call model like a view model, and we have a database model. So model is the types. In this case, what is that models is like a types. Okay, so what is the data types you are using, customized types? We call generally them as model. Okay, and in MVC architecture model, that is also different. Okay, so types, any different types of object you keep, that's you keep in models folder. Okay, suppose in future you have employees data you deal with. So employee structure you will make in the model, you create interface, and you create a product, and you create a customer. Okay, like that. You have a stock. So every data structure customized you can keep in the view model. Okay, the structure of data which you represent on the screen, the view purpose you can use in the view model. And database also will represent the table setup. So table will have rows and columns, right? So you will define some rules, what are the columns, and each column belongs to what data type. That is database model. Okay, view model, database model. Even server side also we can have models. Okay, so we'll see. uh,
So what is math.flow doing?
Math.floor actually, yeah,
It's
same
a
as MVC.
predefined function.
Yeah, yes, it's a predefined function of arrays. Yeah, if you want to know more about arrays concept, I tell you shortcut search, how to search for official documentation. You can just type arrays, just say array, and MDN you type. Array, any concept in JavaScript you want, just type MDN extra. MDN means Mozilla Developer Networks. So that's official documentation. Everyone will follow this official documentation. So here they'll explain all the functions of array. If you can see, this is the arrays concept. Here, see, these are the functions. We have filter, for each, copy, concat, plat, and if you want this flora, there is something called no flora. Floor somewhere will be there. Floor, flat. Oh, where is floor then? Maybe they have taken to some other location or something. Okay, you can type like this: array floor. Oh, sorry, it's not array. It's a math object, dude. Sorry.
Math.
Yeah, math.floor. Yeah, you can find all math functions here, like ABS, cosine theta, cos theta, tan theta, and all in that floor. Floor is, I forgot actually. Floor function returns the largest integer lesser or equal to the given number. Largest integer is floor. Floor is there. One more is there. Opposite
Mod
to
operator.
floor. Aha. Floor and one more sailing also will be there. That's yeah, sail. Sail is least number, I think. Yeah, it will round it. Okay. So you can find that in here. Okay. This type math MDN you type, not array floor. It's math MDN. You get all the math functions in Mozilla Developer Networks. Here, all the math functions. Okay. Fine. Just add extra MDN, you get the official documentation. Fine enough for today's class. I think it's already 7:40. Yeah, tomorrow we'll discuss complete forms binding and two-way binding in Angular, and then we'll discuss some other concept. I tell you what concept. I think for morning batch, what to discuss. Um, yeah, this forms binding, and then we'll discuss structural directives, pipes, component interaction, contact tab, service example, HTTP, GitHub search, routing with module, deep routing, big basket, form validation, authentication. Oh, long story. This all belongs to Angular fundamentals. Okay, so this is the large module we have to discuss. Almost 60% of Angular covers here. Okay, we have long way to go, and we'll start tomorrow forms binding. Right. Can you please share JavaScript playlist source? Sorry, yaar, you asked yesterday also. Yeah, I'll share with today's file. Okay. Yeah, fine. Thank you.